So the year is 1920, and Carlos Gracie from the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu family wants to launch Jiu-Jitsu worldwide. So he accepts any challenges that will fight him and to test his skills against any other martial artist. He's effective in beating them all, but he's unable to launch his brand worldwide because effectively it's 1920. And I'll just wait for the next slide. Okay, so we fast forward, or slow forward, to 1978. And in 1978, Rorion Gracie, from the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu family, grandson of Carlos, travels to the United States with $2,000 in his pocket and the same dream, the same purpose, to launch Jiu-Jitsu to the world. He first approaches the existing martial arts fraternity and community, and they say, buddy, you're not welcome here. We don't like your brand, we don't like your Jiu-Jitsu, and we don't like you. So, anyway, Horion's a man with a plan, and as we know, if you seek worldwide domination and worldwide growth of your company, the best place to start is a garage, and that's exactly what he does. He launches Jiu-Jitsu into his garage and invites anyone who'll come along to train with him. He also re-establishes the Gracie Challenge, suggesting that any instructor that feels that his art is not worthy, that he'll fight them in one-on-one combat and prove his skill and prove his art. He subsequently beats all challenges and his business starts to grow. I guess that's the belief in his brand and his purpose. His expansion leads to Chuck Norris finding out about Jiu-Jitsu, and Chuck being Chuck says, interesting, might check this out. So Chuck goes along to the Jiu-Jitsu school, and I'm pleased to say, at the age of 72, Chuck still practices Jiu-Jitsu today. But the story does not end there. Rorion ends up on the set of Lethal Weapon, instructing both Mel Gibson and Rene Russo in the art of Jiu-Jitsu and the art of grappling. He's open to making connections, and as a consequence, that leads him to many areas. He meets a man called Art Davey. Now Art, he happens to be from the world of advertising, and Art has a plan, because when he hears about the Gracie Challenge, he says, we need to take this to television. And Rorion, being the man that he was, said, fantastic, let's do that, but I'm going to let Royce Gracie fight tonight. So at this point in time, there'd been a long-standing question in the martial arts community, and the question was this: what is the most effective martial arts in the world, or striking in the world? And the argument had actually centred around karate and boxing, at least in the circles I went with. Jiu-Jitsu seldom actually raised a head. But in May of 1993, 8 fighters entered the octagon of 8 different styles. And Royce Gracie is only 79 kilos. The largest fighter there is 120 kilos. And 2 things are proven on that night. First, Jiu-Jitsu is the best martial art in the world. And secondly, if you know it, size no longer matters. They took it to an audience of 86,000 people, and those 86,000 people became their evangelists. Something dramatic happened that night. It turned Jiu-Jitsu into a worldwide brand, and the UFC is actually now the fastest growing sport in the world. So what does this have to do with the art of brand, and what does it have to do with digital? I'll wait for the next slide and I'll tell you. So, you might be the best company in the world, you might have the best service, you might have the best product, but unless you find the right channels to communicate that message to, you're actually going to be stuck in the 1920s like Carlos. Second, it's important to know your purpose. So like Rorion, he knew his purpose. His purpose was to launch his brand worldwide and actually make that successful worldwide. Your purpose might not be as grand as that, but if you start anything and you want to create a digital footprint and you want to move online, it's important to know what your purpose is so you can stay true to that as you navigate. Thirdly, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have people who don't believe in your brand, people who tell you billboards are great, and people who actually want to stand in your way. But if you stay true to your purpose and true to your goals, then you'll continue down the path learning. You need to be a little bit like Chuck with digital. You need to explore it and understand if it can work for you. And if something's growing rapidly online, it actually pays to investigate that and say, is this something I can use now, or should I at least know about it because I might want to use it later? And lastly, I guess, remember your audience is already waiting. There's over 15 million Australians online and 2.5 to 2.7 billion people online worldwide. And that's growing every single day. So there's already an active audience there. It's about engaging and finding your right audience, because every brand has an audience. But let me finish with the story of digital jiu-jitsu. Michael Dubin from the $1 Shave Club, or the Dollar Shave Club, launched his business last year in March of 2012. He did that with a $4,500 video he shot himself, a $20,000 website, and in 24 hours, he had 5,000 new clients. A year and a half later, that video has had 11 million views. He's now venture capital funded, he's active in 3 markets, and he's considered to a threat to an $80 billion business in his market segment. So, my friends, this is digital. The ability for a small band to compete with a big brand like we've never had before. Thank you very much.